Hey guys, Coach Jason, welcome back. So my last two videos, I went over how to break 6 minutes for the mile and then how to break 5 minutes for the mile and things that you should look for into the training or build towards to help you get there. Today I'm going to double that 5 minute mile, the sub 5 minute mile, and go over how to run a sub 10 minute 2 mile. So this is a good video for a high school coach, even a college coach who wants to, run about a 9:15-ish 3K or something like that, which is approximately a sub 10 minute 2 mile. This is a good video for you as well, okay? Be sure to watch the whole thing because not only do I, go over stuff like this on the board, which is some of the meat and potato details, but I give you stuff that's not on this board as well. I explain other things too, like I do in my other videos. So if you're going to watch these videos, please watch the entire thing because I don't want you to miss important details, okay? By the way, I'm Coach Jason. I've been coaching for the past 20 years. And I've coached at the high school and competed at the high school, college, and post-collegiate levels. I worked with beginner athletes all the way up to elite athletes and sub 14 minute 5K runners. I also USATF certified coach and a Wharton certified musculoskeletal and flexibility therapist. So if you've ever seen those guys with the stretch ropes, the Whartons, I worked with them for a decade. And so I'm well-versed in helping you run faster and keeping you healthy at the same time. And those are important components of the training. You'll also see videos on how to stretch properly and so on and so forth. So always take a look in the description down below for important details as well, or important videos. And if you're a coach or an athlete and you like stuff like this, just want detailed training programs or you want a lot of info, this channel's for you. So be sure to subscribe to it now, okay? And hit the bell next to it so you don't miss what I'm going to be putting out moving forward. But I also have 100+ fully detailed videos that you're not going to want to miss. So everything from 800 meters all the way up to the marathon, fully detailed by the week, and by the day, by the week, by the month, 12 to 16-week training programs, cross-country, everything you can imagine. Okay, and if there's not something on there, let me know and I'll put a video together for you. I will work on one. Okay, with that, let's get to the details. How to run a sub 10 minute 2 mile. There's a lot of components to it, but at this point, your athletes are obviously, or you have some experience and you've been running for a little while. Okay, so based on a sub 10 minute, if you're running longer and shorter races, your 5K should be around 15:55, okay? Sub 16 minutes, all right? And your mile should be around 4:37, 4:38. Now, that doesn't always apply to everybody. Some folks have a much faster mile and a much slower 5K, or vice versa. It could be very strong runners and very speed-oriented runners. It really depends, okay? And one reason I mention that is because of one of the videos I put, actually two, 1 mile time trial. I watched that video, and then how to set the appropriate training paces based on your 1 mile time trial. The reason why I say that, and I say this in all this video, is because I've done all the hard work already in the 1 mile time trial. It'll tell you where you should be for 800 and 400, and then on the flip side, 3K and 5K. So that if you're closer to the longer stuff than you are the shorter stuff, it's a sign to improve your speed development, and vice versa. If you're closer to the shorter stuff than the longer stuff, it's a sign to improve or enhance your aerobic training or your lactate or VO2 work or threshold capacity, okay? It tells you, it gives you a lot of data, and I've done all the work already. I've done all the specific numerical breakdowns so that you don't have to, okay? But this is just, longer end, shorter end component here as well. So watch those two videos because you're going to get a lot of detail, and watch them in their entirety like this one, okay? So that's where your mile should be. It'll tell you if it's there, then you're kind of on the right path to breaking 10 minutes for 2 miles. Now, tempo runs, I say this in my other videos. If they're not a component of your training already, they should be, okay? I'm just using Jack Daniel's kind of 4 miles or 20-minute example because it's a good, if you're training for a mile or 2 mile or even 5K, 4 miles or even up to 5 miles, if you're kind of focusing on the 5K, is a good distance to build on a tempo run, okay? But we're sticking to 4 miles here or 20 minutes. This is how I have my athletes who have not been or aren't experienced in tempo running build towards that, okay? I break it up into 6 pieces and I have them do it essentially every other week, okay? In the beginning of a longer training cycle. So 2 times 6 minutes is the first time I have them do it. And the goal here is to build to 5:40 to 5:35 per mile, okay, which is about 35 to 40 seconds slower than goal pace, okay? So the first time I have them do it is 2 times 6 minutes, which is 12 minutes of total running with a 2-minute recovery, okay, in between each one. The next time I have them do 12 minutes consecutively, they can, to see how they're adapting. The third time I go 2 times 8 minutes, which is 16 minutes total, same 2-minute recovery. The fourth time, 16 minutes consecutively. You notice a pattern now? The fifth time, I go 2 times 10 minutes with the same 2-minute recovery, okay? And then a 20-minute consecutive tempo run, okay? This gives them bits and pieces on how to build on the goal pace. You can just repeat 20 minutes or 4-mile tempo runs, but I've seen athletes, trying to lock into pace and not being ready for it and slow down and get frustrated and not want to do this again and so on and so forth, or take it just a little bit longer to get there, okay? Now, what you do in between those 2 weeks is obviously important, but this is a good way of building towards that 4-mile distance, and then you can kind of stick there or build towards 5 miles if you want, okay? And again, the goal pace is 5:35 to 5:40 per mile for these tempo runs. Now, short reps, 200-meter efforts, building towards 8 to 10 of them at 31 to 32 seconds with a minute recovery, okay? That's essentially about 800-meter pace. It's like 206-ish, something like that. And then mile pace reps for 400 meters, building towards 7 to 8 of those at about 69, 68, no slower than 70 or 70 to 68, with a starting at 90-second recovery and building towards a minute recovery if you repeat that workout, okay? It's a good mile pace workout too, but it's also a good way of making the pace easier for the sub 10-minute 2-mile. Okay. Now longer reps, 800-meter efforts, building towards 5 to 6 of them at 229 to 230, which is kind of right on 9:55 2-mile pace around there. 10 minutes with a 2-minute recovery, so that's your 3K pace. Okay. And then 1,000-meter reps at 5K pace times 5, 311 to 309. Okay, about 1555 to 1550 with a 2-minute recovery. Okay, so now you've done stuff at 5K pace, 3K pace, mile pace, 800-meter pace. Now think about it this way, and I said this in my other videos. Let's say you have a 14-week training block, okay, actually no, let's just say you have a 4-week training block. And the first week, and you want to address all these paces. Well, here's a way to do it, okay? You can do stuff at 5K pace for your main workout on week 1 and then complement it with a tempo run. The following week, you could do 3K pace and threshold training, okay, which we'll go over that too. The third week, you can do mile pace, again, then with a tempo run, okay? And then the last week, 800-meter pace and threshold training. So now you've incorporated threshold, tempo, and all these paces within a 4-week block that you could repeat a second time, which can tell you how well you're progressing, okay, before you increase training intensity or training volume. This will give you an idea of whether you're ready for it or whether your athletes are ready for it, okay? But doing a multi-pace training system puts you in a position to put your athletes in a position for long-term success, okay? Addressing the speed component, the VO2 max, the aerobic component, the longer threshold stuff, the tempo stuff. You're addressing everything within that 4-week block, okay? Without having to do super hard intervals and super easy runs, or depending on how you lay out your training. Now, this is just a little bit of this is a very well-balanced training block or training cycle, okay, to make sure that you're training at the right training paces, okay? Because a lot of times folks are doing either workouts too hard and runs too easy, or runs too hard and workouts too easy. So this kind of helps prevent these things, okay, by laying out the training in an appropriate manner, okay? Now, threshold training, like I just said, threshold training is slightly slower than your 3K pace and 5K pace, but it also has shorter rest, so you can essentially do more volume. Okay, so 800-meter efforts, building towards 6 of these, okay? 245 to 244 per rep, so slower than here. But again, it's a 1-minute recovery, so you're coming back pretty quickly. 1,000-meter efforts, they're going to be at 327 to 325. 5 to 6 of those, okay? Also a threshold pace with a 1-minute recovery, so it's slower than the 311 to 309, okay? And again, this is a non-invasive way of doing the training while still achieving the same result or similar result, but it's also a great workout to do race week to kind of preserve your legs, and you can even tack on some short sprints at the back end of them to simulate turning over, okay, when you're fatigued. So now you have the threshold, the longer stuff, the shorter rep, and the tempo runs, okay, which is the multi-pace training cycle, okay. The training paces, the right training paces you want to be building towards for your easy runs, 7:15 to 6:45 per mile. For easy runs, for steady runs, 6:45 to 6:15 per mile. And the progression of the two, you're building towards this from the slow end to the fast end. So the progression will be from 7:15 to 6:15 per mile. You can do a run like that too, and even tack on some 150s or 200s on the back end of it too. So that's a way of doing it as well. Okay, a day off about every 14 days. Okay, so if you're training and I say this in all my videos too, if you're training and recovering at the same time, then you're putting yourself in a position to succeed short-term and long-term, and not have to make drastic changes to the training. Okay, because the same thing I said, it takes about 21 to 28 days for the body to adapt to a training cycle going up, whether you're increasing or volume or intensity. The same applies going down. If you do a drastic 1 or 2 week taper, you can throw the legs. If you ever felt the legs kind of being out of whack because you dropped from like 60 to 30, okay, that's one of the reasons why. And I mean 60 to 30 miles per week, or 80 to 40, or whatever it is. Okay, this gives you an opportunity to kind of do the same thing coming down. Okay, which you can cut the volume and keep it there for the 3 or 4 weeks. Okay, give your body a chance to adapt rather than changing something every week, which can throw the legs off rhythm. Okay, and it's the last thing you want coming into your goal races or championship season. So I hope this was helpful. If it was, please hit the thumbs up. And again, please subscribe to the channel either way. It's really helpful to the channel's growth. I want to continue making this into one of the best channels out there. And I have said this in my other videos, I take it out to different environments too. But whenever I do a board stuff like this with specific paces and things like that, I want to make sure that you can hear me without any distractions. That's why it's on here on the board. Okay, and it's important that to me that you watch the entire video so you don't miss important training details, because I always mention stuff that's not on here, like the 4-week training block and how to kind of lay it out. That's not on here. Okay, so but it gives you an idea of how to put it together. Okay, so again, I hope you enjoyed this, and if there's any other videos that you want me to put out that I haven't yet done so, put them in the comments down below. If you subscribe, also, let me know in the comments so I can personally thank you. I really appreciate your support, okay? Because this is for the coaches, for the athletes, okay? And I learn from you folks as much as you learn from me. I want to share my experience and my knowledge, and everything that I put up on boards I've used on athletes with success, okay, at all levels. So it's something to keep in mind. It's just not random stuff, okay? Over the course of decades, like all the other coaches, you learn bits and pieces from other coaches and athletes and whatnot, and then you kind of build your own training system based on your own philosophies. That's exactly what I've done, okay? And again, being adaptable to the athletes, because not every athlete's the same, okay? If you have 10 athletes, not everybody's going to respond the same way to the same training program. So there's going to be an individualized component within the training as well that needs to be considered or implemented or incorporated. So keep that in mind as well. But thanks so much for watching. Be safe, train hard, train smart. Talk to you soon.